fair. That is not
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see how a woman cries with regret after divorcing her ex-husband because her finances went down the drain, and how another woman says that men don't want to be providers and pay child support. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
Here's why women regret divorce more than men. Financially speaking, women's lives get worse after the divorce, while men's get better. The standard of living for women goes down an average of 27%, while the standard of living for men goes up 10%. So you can see why women may feel that their lives get worse after divorce because their standards of living go down while their ex-husband's standard of living goes up.
The cynicism of this woman is incredible. So, a man is better off when half of his savings are taken away, his house, child support is imposed, a portion of his 401k or retirement plan is taken, and if he has a business, he has to give part of it or money, like half of any asset he owns. In some horrible cases, he has to pay alimony. But a man is better off after divorcing, when he's left totally ruined. The difference between a man and a woman is that women waste money, and men have to go into survival mode because that's how they end up. Sometimes they have to call a friend because they don't even have a house, or go to a cheap motel to sleep. It's even worse when you're a man without friends or family. What happens with women is that they have all this money, and instead of saving it, they end up spending it all. You know, on those divorce celebrations, or the girls' trips to Miami with their single friends who just wanted to destroy her marriage. But that's also the man's fault that they end up poor.
fair. That is not
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's all a front. But I've been her. I think we all have. Gone through those breakups where we're laying in bed feeling like we've been ran over by a truck. Meanwhile, we peek through the blinds and we see our ex running in these streets trying to make it easy to replace us. It's all a front. The way the mind and body chemistry works, you cannot replace, or you can't replace anybody, but detach from somebody that quick. It's not the way it works. So whoever they're with, they're also with you, baby. Or you have those real all-stars who are terrified of being alone, so they did the detaching while in a relationship with you. They had to emotionally pull back and groom another and lily pad from relationship to relationship because they're really scared. Weak-minded individuals. You don't want those people in your camp anyway. You got too much shit to do.
No, what happens is that a smart man learns to go no contact. He stops being friends with his ex, and if there are no kids, he cuts off all relations. This hurts her ego because instead of seeing you crying and begging to fix things, as she wants to see you suffering and crawling, you channel that energy into achieving goals. You start going to the gym, focus on your finances that are always destroyed, and look for ways to start this new stage of your life. She will only hear about you from what people tell her because, believe me, she will ask about you or your lawyer. This hurts, brothers. Because she didn't achieve her goal of destroying you, you were resilient because you knew how to channel your pain. Remember that both love and hate are energy. Hate is a stronger motivator. It can either destroy you or inspire you to improve. They just want to see you more destroyed than they are. That's how selfish they are.
When a relationship ends between two people, you part ways. And that also means that you are both going to be at different levels in your processing of the grief, of the death of what once was, and all of that. And even months or years later, there can be certain triggers that pop up and you're like, whoa, I thought I dealt with that shit. Do not go back into the story that you want them or miss them or can't make it without that other person. Oftentimes what those triggers are trying to show you is that there's something unresolved within you that you need to address. And for me, watching my ex thrive. It's a beautiful thing, but it's really triggering for me because I walked away with literally having to start over after 12 years of starting over, of wondering if I'm going to be able to keep a roof over my head with my boys and not being able to just go out and play in our backyard like we used to, and wondering if I'm going to be able to feed them and survive. The thing is, I've never been more rich spiritually and emotionally and feeling free. So as much as I miss the security and the stability and the toys and the cush life, I wouldn't trade any of it for where I am right now. So if you yourself are in a position where you are thinking of leaving your partner, or you're, in the thralls of it and processing the grief, or whatever the case may be, just know that there is a light on the other side. And you're doing this, you made this choice for you, for your peace, for your well-being. And that, in and of itself, is worth its weight in gold.
I have always said that men marry for love and women for a lifestyle. Women tend to think that after divorcing a man, they will keep the same quality of life that the man provided. At the beginning of the divorce, it is like this, which is why you see those celebration videos, the trips, and the single parties. Everything is joyful until the bills come, and they've spent everything they took from their ex-husband. The man, on the other hand, is left ruined. Here he only has two options: either sink further or rise up. His ex-husband did the latter. These women fight for alimony for a reason, so he maintains her. In other words, she gets the money without the responsibility of the man. But when they don't get it, and the man only contacts her for the children, pays child support, and picks up his kids, but doesn't act like a simp solving his ex-wife's problems, always helping, orbiting around her, even giving more money than required, in short, giving her the privileges of a wife while she is intimate with the Chad she left him for. When she doesn't get this from the man, she realizes everything he was paying for her to have that quality of life. That's when she regrets it and starts calling her ex-husband for help. Like any self-respecting man, he tells her, "I only have to pay for my kids. What happens after that is your problem." Because if she had the guts to leave him, call him an abuser, and say all those bad things about him, then she shouldn't be thinking about wanting his money. She should put on those same shoes and support herself.
It's funny because it's true.
What do you do for a living?
I don't work.
So what do you do during the day?
Nothing.
You don't want to work?
No.
So you're just living off of his child support?
I am.
But you can go get a job, right?
I could, but I'm not going to.
I have 85 to 90,000 on the high end on a good year.
$1,093 a month is what he would pay in child support.
That's it?
That's it. Well, it would be more if you get a job.
He would pay more if I got a job?
No, it would be more for the child if you got a job.
I found a bunch of movie. He's the main character on the movies. I believe that he has some income that he's actually not reporting.
What are the odds this guy actually earns way more than this, but he's just being sneaky about it? Can't really blame him either. What would you do?
Here is the money for the children that she claims so much. It's just money for everything but the children. That's why I call it alimony, child support. In this country, it has become a business for women. We are overlooking that divorce takes half of your money, but as always, the child needs more, right?
I will never understand why men are so mad about the society they created. Yes, being a provider also means providing financially as well. If my value exponentially drops the day I turn 30 based on your society, and I'm not compensated for the years I step away from work to be a mother, then better fucking believe you need to go to work and you need to pay these bills. For the record, misogyny hurts us all, but don't be mad. Don't be mad. This is what you wanted.
Who is telling you guys that men don't want to be providers and that they're mad at providing? Because there is not a genuine whole ass man that is mad about providing. What they're mad about is being taken advantage of. They're mad for working 3 jobs, trying to provide a secure, healthy home for you to raise the children in, just to come home to you bitching and nagging or being unappreciative at all of the hard work that he does because you expect it and your entitlement doesn't allow you to appreciate shit. Some of these men are busting their asses so much just to come home and hear that it's not good enough. And why is it not good enough? Because his wife spent 6 hours on social media and all she's seeing is people's highlight reels about how their lives are better. So now she's miserable and upset because he can't fill a void that's pretty much fake and imaginary and delusional. So yeah, men are not mad at providing for the right woman. They're mad at being taken advantage of and having these women be so unappreciative and ungrateful. And what does he get in return? He's going to end up divorced. He's going to lose time with his children even after he's been providing for 10 plus years. So you cry about missing 10 plus years of your life and you want to be compensated. But how are the men compensated other than losing all of their shit in divorce and then not seeing their kids enough? And the only women who want to spew out any type of misogyny or misogynistic point of views are women that lack empathy to understand a man's point of view. Okay, bye.
This woman is absolutely right. This is telling the truth clearly. You kill yourself working, sometimes doing extra hours or having 2 jobs, only to come home and see a woman who complains about everything you give her, who doesn't even save you a plate for dinner, and who wants you to work more at home, while she spends her time listening to another single and bitter woman who tells her that she should live like a queen without contributing anything just for being a woman. Do you know why she regrets it? Because while she is divorcing, she gets all the applause and is the topic of the moment. But when the party is over and she sees her finances collapsing, the money isn't enough. She starts to see that divorce isn't what it was painted to be, that she didn't have such a bad life with you, that those small issues could have been fixed, that she was actually the problem, and that the much-desired peace she claims to have doesn't pay the bills. That's why you see her making life impossible for the man with the kids, starting to blackmail you, forbidding you from seeing them, and asking for more money. All because her life is falling apart, and you are not there playing the simp friend fixing everything for her. It gets even worse when she sees that you find a new woman while she remains single and bitter. I swear she will do everything necessary to ruin your new marriage. That's how good these women are.
Why don't guys understand there's no point of being in a relationship if you're not going to take care of every single need I have? Like, I know I can do it by myself, but baby, if I gotta do it myself, there's no reason I need to be with you. Hello?
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will look at several modern women who clearly show us why there is an epidemic of single women, as they complain that men do not make the first move to meet them. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave us your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
I get this. I really do. I come home alone every single night. But I think there's a way of looking at this differently. I'm not coming home alone. I'm coming home with myself. And that's why it's so important to love your own company, to fall in love with being with yourself. I have so much fun with myself, and I have done so much work to get to where I am now. And I will not just bring anyone home because I'm tired of being home alone. No, I'm going to sit with myself for as long as it takes until I find someone that is worth my energy and my attention. And it's up to you to make that decision. It's up to you to see your worth and to see you for who you are. And you need to know what you deserve. And truly, in all honesty, you deserve the world. You really do.
You know, brothers, who else has fun with themselves in solitude? The crazy ones. According to doctors, they laugh a lot at themselves and live talking to themselves. Let's stop romanticizing solitude. There's a reason why women are the #1 consumers of antidepressants and the ones who go to therapy the most. Because they spend so much time alone that one day they end up getting bored. If you travel, go out to eat, work, and come back home, doing everything alone, there comes a time when you get bored and depressed, especially when you see that everyone is moving towards a family life except you. They've tried to romanticize solitude until the moment comes when they get tired of it, and that's when the tears start. It's worse when they know they're in their 30s and have hit the wall, because we all know the wall doesn't forgive.
I just need to know from a men's perspective, are y'all waiting on girls to talk to you first? Like, are you waiting on a girl to ask you on a date first?
I would say that by and large, a lot of men would be pleasantly surprised if a woman actually made the first move.
That's crazy to me.
Why? When this
Point is, leave women alone. They don't want you.
is the type of thing that countless men see every single day pushed on social media.
Like, when you're out in public and you're making eyes with a girl and you're like making it known that you're attracted to her, but you're not gonna say something, how are you not gonna say something?
Because they keep hearing things like this.
Stop stalking them, putting them in vulnerable situations to try to get in their pants.
Is it becoming clearer yet?
Where are the huevos? Where are the huevos these days?
Oh, the huevos still exist. They're just playing it safe and avoiding individuals with this type of mentality.
Each one of you are gonna go to hell.
And what man in his right mind wouldn't want to approach that?
My man to be assertive and dominant. If you want to say something to me, say something to me.
I think a lot of men are honestly just confused because that type of behavior has been called toxic masculinity.
I'll give you the opportunity. I'll put my phone down. I'll drop the handkerchief. But I'm not going to do it first.
Of course not. Because after all, that would just be too easy.
Approaching a woman these days is like playing Russian roulette. If you pull the trigger and there's no bullet, everything can go wonderfully with her because she reacts well. You might get her number, and everything could go smoothly for a future date. But if you get the bullet, you might encounter a toxic woman who insults you harshly, accuses you of something, or even makes a scene in public, leaving you in a bad position or worse, recorded in a viral video as some kind of harasser who tried to attack this woman. So, would you play Russian roulette? Because they label everything as toxic masculinity. They say we're misogynist for doing something that for thousands of years has been the way men form relationships with women. Now, they've ruined that, and because they're single, they're afraid of missing the train. Now they call us cowards, when the ones terrified of rejection are you, who are afraid to approach. But it's the men who will go to hell.
Last month, I posted a video here to TikTok that went a tiny bit viral. If you're seeing this video now, I'm assuming that you saw the original. But if you didn't, it's a story about how I went on a date with a guy from Bumble. He said he was at the location that we had decided on, and he actually was not there. Basically, I got ghosted in the middle of the date. I think most people agree that that's a weird thing to happen. The post is all about the different theories of what me and my girlfriends thought could have happened to him. I think it goes without saying, but that post was for the girls. Like, even the algorithm knew that the post was for the girls. For the first couple weeks that the post was up, everything was safe. People were being mostly kind in the comment section, minus a lot of women being upset that I took a 9:30 p.m. date on a weekend. My bad. But something happened last week when TikTok decided it wanted to start showing the video to men. I'm realizing that I don't even totally know how to talk about this. But the comment section took a turn for the worse. There were a lot of comments like this one. Basically, it became days of men expressing to me how ugly they think I am, or telling me that I lack worth, yelling at other women in my comment section, telling them that they don't have any worth. It really became like a little bit of a hellscape. There were even moments of being sexualized, which was not so fun. I have to say, I'm 36 years old. I am secure in myself enough that I can take people saying mean stuff about me on the internet. This experience was shocking to me, though, because this is not how people speak to me in real life. Like, no one has ever spoken to me like this before in my entire life, the way that men came at me in my comment section. I'm really lucky to have mostly been treated very well by men in my life. This experience made me realize that if you show men that you are weak, they will come after you. They know you're an easy target. They saw that another man treated me poorly and they're like, that's her. I'm going to take out all my aggression right now. I'm going to show her. And I think that this is something that we're not talking enough about. Women should be able to be vulnerable and speak about something shitty that happens to them without becoming another target. This experience has really opened my eyes to how the cycle of abuse works and how women who get hurt often find themselves in other situations with men who are continuing to hurt them. Men have some sense where they can see, okay, that woman is someone that lets men hurt them, so I'm gonna jump in and take my turn. Men are not okay. Like, they are not okay. If you're someone that's suffering and taking treatment like this in real life or on the internet, I really feel for you, and hopefully we can find some support.
There's a saying that the truth hurts, and like all the men in your life, they've always pampered you and said nothing to avoid hurting your feelings. The men on the internet, who don't know you at all, trust me, they don't give a damn. They'll tell you things as they are. If you want to be a content creator, then you have to learn to endure complaints. It's that simple. Or make your content private so only women tell you you're not wrong. You make a video mocking a man who missed a date, creating the most ridiculous scenarios to laugh with a group of women. It's fine for you to be the one mocking him. Up to that point, everything is very nice. But when more men, like a brotherhood, start telling you that what you're doing is wrong, they start knocking you off your pedestal and now start bullying you the same way you were bullying the man before. Now you play the victim, saying men are bad and no one has ever talked to you like that. Well, learn that every action has a reaction. In your case, it's not mocking men on TikTok when you're 36 and have hit the wall because the wall doesn't forgive.
Okay, I am the problem.
Oh, good. Maybe this is a sign that some personal accountability is actually being taken.
I went on a date with this guy.
Okay, go on.
And he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over.
Oh, good. Mutually agreed upon boundaries have been set. So what's the problem?
Go to his place. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night.
And go on.
And I'm like, are you gay?
What? A man acted like a gentleman, respected the woman's wishes, and now he's what? Explain.
I just wanted him to like try, and then for me to be like, no. You know what I mean?
So you wanted the guy to completely disregard your boundaries. Right. More mixed signals than a broken stoplight.
I wasn't going to sleep with him, but I just, now I feel ugly.
And that's not his fault. That's a self-confidence problem.
This is what...
Indeed. By the way, that was probably one of those good guys that one has spent so long wondering where exactly they're at.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This woman is used to going out with chads, men who bring nothing to the table except their seed. These men only put on a movie for 20 minutes, then start, putting a hand here or there until she gives them everything. But this man was a gentleman and respected her. However, for the modern woman who is used to men who don't respect her and only use her, it's hard for her to find this attractive because her mind is intoxicated by chads. Good, gentlemanly men don't end up appealing to them, which is why she found him gay. Then she wonders why she has bad luck with men, or why she ends up as a single mother. Later, she blames men for it, when it's her who has terrible judgment in men. But as I said, responsibility is kryptonite for women. I don't know if what this man did was good or bad. For me, if a woman comes to my house these days to watch Netflix, I might make a move. Maybe this man doesn't do that on a first date. We don't know. But what would you have done?
Quick bathroom rant for you guys. Yeah, we're gonna close the door for this one. Where are all of the men who know how to carry a conversation? You know what I mean? Where are all the men that whatever his end goal is? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about a man who can actually carry a conversation. Because I don't know. Seems really simple, right? I ask you a question. You ask me questions. We have conversation. I'll even give you the question. Maybe just add in how about you to the end of it. Instead of just giving me even more information about yourself. What am I supposed to do with LOL? I know, right? I'm so glad we're on the same page. Emoji, emoji, emoji. Just because emojis take up more space on the text thread doesn't mean they hold more weight. It doesn't. So if you know where to find these men, let me know, because so far I haven't found one. You know what I mean? Also let me know, and please give me their best non-response response, because so far mine is the emojis. That's not a response. Just like my message at that point. Thank you for joining my bathroom rant. There will be more.
What? Oh my God! Women are the ones who have the least interesting lives. Most would say boring. But it's worse when talking in a chat. They respond with an okay, LOL, or some sticker, keeping it as short as possible. They love to ask questions to find out more about you. But if you ask them questions, they tend to respond as briefly as possible. I'll give men a trick. Learn to ask open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. If you want, look into it. It helps a lot, even in sales or when talking to business people. But back to this woman. This man simply wasn't interested. He knows he doesn't want anything with you, so he shortened the interaction. Since you're interested, you keep asking questions to prolong the conversation. But as we know, genuine interest is not negotiable, and unfortunately, he doesn't like you.
This is your daily reminder to stop dating people who hate you and are jealous of you. You think it'd be common knowledge, but sadly, it is not. I see so many gorgeous, amazing women dating their biggest hater. People who do not want to see them win. They're not happy when good things happen to them. Not just that, they're jealous. If you can relate to this, girl, run.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see how a mother becomes the lover of her daughter's husband for over 5 years. We will also hear the story of a man whose wife refuses to give him her savings, and we will discuss one of the reasons why men today want to leave relationships. We invite you to smash that like button, support the movement, and subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Add your 2 cents to the movement and share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. Without further introduction, let's get started.
When I was single and I saw a cute guy at the bar or the restaurant that I wanted to come talk to me, this is what I did, and it worked every single time. I'm not even kidding. You don't need to say anything to the guy. You don't need to acknowledge them. Get on your phone, talk to whomever is around you, do whatever you want. And when the bartender finally comes up to you because it's your turn to order a drink and asks you, hey, what do you want to drink? You say, I'm not sure. And then you turn to the guy that you were Googling at, right? You say, what are you drinking? That's all you say. You don't say anything else. You turn back to the bartender and you say, yeah, I'll just take 2 of those. This is the part that most people, this is where they mess up. And this might seem like a little game, a little toxic. I don't know. Don't start a conversation with the guy who you just asked what they're drinking. Look around like you're looking for your friends. Get on your phone. Literally do anything else. And when the bartender finally brings you over your drinks, you just slide the other one over to the guy and you say, have a good night. And then you walk away. When I tell you this leaves a man baffled, they don't know what to do. Men never have people buying drinks for them. And I guarantee that man at some point in the night is gonna come over and thank you for the drink or start talking to you.
A man is going to be speechless if you do this 100% of the time. And for ladies that are single right now that want to be in a relationship, I think that this is going to become a more common thing that you actually need to do. Because men that are interested in you right now are struggling to find the balance between approaching you and letting you know that he's interested and respecting you. Men do not want to do anything that could be considered creepy. So what this lady has found is a method to take away that concern from a man.
I'm going to say 2 things about this. First, this will work for almost 80% of men because the reality is that very few men, if any, receive gifts from women. What this woman does is boost a man's ego and mood, making him feel attractive. That's why men will really get hooked. They'll feel comfortable approaching because she made the first move. Now, this makes other things clear to me. Women are actually the hunters, not men. I've always said that women will make it easy for the man who excites them. In other words, the man they like. The stronger their desire for you, the better the deal. Modern women know that since men are no longer approaching them, the way to get a man is changing. They're making the first move. Many find this difficult because they fear rejection, but I'm sure that with how things are going today, we'll see women in bars trying to woo men.
The Affair.
a story time. So it was April 13th, 2011, the day after my 33rd birthday, when my then husband decided it would be a good idea to tell me he'd been having an affair for a year. I was devastated, so I decided to tell my mom and talk to my mom and confide in my mom about it. And so my mom got super defensive and she was angry. She was almost as angry as I was, maybe angrier. And she got so defensive that she would follow him around and kind of find out where he was. And she literally stalked him. And I thought, wow, mom's coming in clutch. But then I find out 7 months later the truth. She wasn't defensive of me. She wasn't being like a good mom. She was jealous. I found out in November of that same year that she had been having an affair with my now ex-husband for 5 years.
God, please, no! 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 No!
A woman's worst enemy is another woman. The truth is, this is really wrong on the man's part. I could understand it if it were a friend, but his mother-in-law? That's crossing another line. But I want to point out why I say women compete with each other. This isn't foreign to mothers and daughters. There are cases where the mother humiliates the daughter to feel superior. This happens more when the woman gets pregnant young, or as a minor, than when the daughter is a teenager. The mother, still looking somewhat young in her 30s, tends to go out partying with her daughter's friends. There are cases where the boyfriend dates the mother, or friends see the mother because women are emotional beings who don't take responsibility for their actions. Look at how the mother was angry. She was upset because she knew she would be blamed. Even though the man committed the act, the mother is worse because it's her own daughter. It's one thing if it happens once, but if you give in for 5 years, you have no heart, lady. As I said, a woman's worst enemy is another woman.
Am I the asshole for demanding that my girlfriend clear out her escape bank account?
Y'all aren't even married. She could do whatever the f she wants.
I, 50 male, make a very good income as a software developer. I came from a very poor background and had a rough start to my early adult years, so I consider myself self-made and very prudent with my finances. I work in a managerial position in a large company and make $200,000 a year.
That would be nice. Would love that for me.
Add that to a good freelance client base, and I make enough to provide for myself, my girlfriend, 45 female, and our daughter, 17 female. However, because I came from so little and worked hard, I am prudent about my finances. I have developed strict financial values in that I believe you can be frugal and generous at the same time. I felt like there was no need to marry. I loved my girlfriend and promised that if we broke up, I would be generous and would give her a fair settlement, which I'd determine at the time of breakup. That's like a terrible idea.
It's like you would want to have that in writing before emotions get fully into it. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
The situation now is that I think my girlfriend is feeling empty nest anxiety. She is middle-aged too, so a bit of midlife lack of adjustment as well. Because our daughter is mildly autistic, we felt it best that my girlfriend quit her marketing job and become a stay-at-home mother. However, around 3 years ago, my girlfriend became upset because I felt like I turned out so well because I had to fight to be able to eat when I was in college. It made me value my education more, so my policy is that when my daughter goes to college next year, her schooling will be paid for by loans and scholarships that she'll have to get for herself, and then I'd give her a total nest egg of $1,000, and she can use it however she wants to for the duration of her 4 years of college.
$1,000 for 4 years?
You're just strapping your daughter with $50,000 worth of debt? Crazy. My girlfriend is upset because she says that my daughter will be taking on a lot of debt, but I think you need skin in the game. Around that time, my girlfriend started taking on odd jobs, babysitting and cleaning the homes of neighbors. She'd be putting the money in our accounts, so I thought that was it. However, my girlfriend fell asleep yesterday afternoon and forgot to put away this notepad, which had the grocery list in the front, but when you got into it, it also showed a to-do list and just her jotting out plans. I found out that she has around $1,900 in what she calls an emergency escape fund and jotted down a reminder to withdraw some of it to put into our daughter's tampon box. To say I was furious is an understatement. After all these years sharing my money with her and supporting her, I could not believe she was just labeling me as untrustworthy and hiding money from me. I admit I did some further snooping and was able to log into her account. I screenshotted it and confronted her, saying that she lied to me and made this ugly, so here's my demand. She either apologizes by moving the money to our shared bank account and closes it, or she needs to think about where she'd live the moment our daughter goes off to college and turns 18.
This is why she has an escape fund, brother.
To get away from your bitch ass.
And that if my daughter was complicit in stealing from me, it would come out of her college fund.
Ooh, $1,000? Oh no.
So am I the asshole for feeling betrayed?
Yeah. For the wife to label that as an escape fund, for me, I'm feeling that there's more to the story than financial abuse, in my opinion.
Yeah, the fact that she worded it escape fund.
I think there's way more than he's not disclosing in this situation. That's giving me major ick.
What do you think about this story? Let me know in the comments. As for me, I think this man is quite miserable. I can understand not spending your money frivolously, but not with your family and children. This woman agreed not to get married, which is a victory in itself. She gave up her professional life, has been with you for several years, and has a daughter with you. She is not a bad woman, but you are abusing her, and I don't stand for abuse. If you don't want to pay for your only daughter's education, that's your decision. But even the money your wife tries to save because she knows how stingy you are, and you plan to make your daughter pay for it, that's clearly wrong. That's an abuse of power.
Am I the asshole for demanding that my girlfriend clear out her escape bank account?
Y'all aren't even married.
There is no alimony for girlfriends. I need you to understand that. There is no alimony for girlfriends. On a regular basis, I am talking to stay-at-home girlfriends or stay-at-home partners who are financially dependent upon their partner, not their spouse, and they're trying to figure out what rights they have now that they're leaving. The answer is none. You don't have any rights. And that is a very difficult, harsh, terrible reality, especially if you have children. Social media has glamorized like getting a bag through your partner, like finding a man or a partner who will take care of you financially. The problem is that as they're building and they're not marrying you, you're not getting any portion of what they're building. You will not get financial support beyond child support, and that's only if you have a child. So this man telling his girlfriend to get rid of her nest egg, his girlfriend, he's crazy.
I have to say that if a man asks a woman to leave her professional life so he can take care of her and their children, it's not a bad privilege. If the wife is a good woman to you, then it is your duty to take care of her. However, what this man is doing is wrong because he doesn't give her money, and he even wants to take the money she earns. Let's be honest, you are her partner, not her dictator. I don't support financial abuse because she is doing it for her daughter since he doesn't plan to give her anything. But don't try to take away the little she has. She lived with you for 17 years, a very long time, and she will leave as she came. As I said, if the woman is not bad, she doesn't deserve to be mistreated because that's not what a masculine man does. That's my opinion. I'll read yours in the comments. Now, I don't support having to maintain a woman when she is no longer with me. If she takes 50% of everything, why should I still have to pay her for not living with me? I disagree with alimony.
What happens to a man in a relationship when he starts to feel unappreciated?
Men are willing to crawl through broken glass for their family and for their partner. But what starts to happen when he's feeling unappreciated is that he's doing all of this work, he's breaking his back to make everybody around him happy, but at the end of it, he's bleeding for no reason. And after this continues for too long, he begins to feel so desperate, so hopeless that he's doing everything he possibly can to improve the relationship, and yet none of that is coming back to him in terms of a positive benefit of appreciation and respect in the relationship. And so if this pattern of lack of appreciation, lack of respect continues for too long, he gets to a place where he starts getting really resentful. Why is he going to keep doing what he's doing if the reaction is only negativity and he's not getting any recognition for what he's doing? And this disconnect over time will widen, and eventually he'll either be unable to continue doing so, and so he'll exit the relationship, or he'll accept that this relationship just doesn't provide me with happiness, and he'll continue to live this kind of half-life, not only in the relationship, but in his wider life, in his career, in his personal relationships as well. If you found this useful, follow for more content like this.
Do you know the number one reason a man asks for a divorce? Lack of appreciation. The second is a dead bedroom. In a relationship, especially with women today, a man always has to express gratitude for everything the woman does. But do you see women showing gratitude towards men? There are men who take care of a family for over 30 years. What do they get in return? A woman who complains about everything he does, a woman who no longer wants to make love with him, children who don't treat him with respect and only appreciate him for the money he gives. Eventually, a man, like a flower, begins to wither. That's why you see men who had the energy in their youth to conquer the world, got married seeking happiness, only to end up in their retirement just wanting to die. Why do you think men live shorter lives than women? It's because all this stress is loaded onto men. Stress shortens your life. Why do you think women love the beta provider so much? Because they are a gold mine that keeps giving and giving until there's nothing left, and then they leave. That's why I always tell men that their top priority should always be themselves. Focus on your mental and physical health. Show yourself small gestures of appreciation. Learn to love yourself because a man is the only being in the world who is loved only for what he provides, not unconditionally. Remember, brothers, you are worth a lot. Never forget that.
You are powerful. You are magnetic. You are divine. You are a creator. You are creative. You are incredible. You are powerful beyond words. Okay? Remember that? The next time this motherfucker tries to act up, you remember your power. You remember your worth. Okay? Because ain't nobody gonna remember it as much as you. And I'm here to remind you to remember.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll discuss the reasons why men don't attend dating events, why modern women see that men no longer approach them, nor make the effort to court them nowadays. We want to invite you to smash that like button, support the movement, and subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement, share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
So I have to cancel the singles event that I planned to be on my farm this weekend. Y'all know I'm an event planner and I have a fish farm, and I advertised a fishing for love event where singles could come here and fish and have dinner and meet each other in person, not on a dating app. And 5 women RSVP'd yes, and 1 man. And even the 1 man that did RSVP did it through one of the ladies. Now, I did all of my marketing specifically towards men because I knew that the women would RSVP. I promoted the event on 45 different Facebook groups, specifically about hunting, fishing, camping, country life, and all local to my area. I know that my post reached over 12,000 people specific to the age group, the gender, and the interests that I just described. And yet, no man RSVP'd. So let's talk about why men are not RSVPing and attending these singles meet and greets. So I read something that said that men are just more spontaneous, they just want to show up, but I don't think that's true because men have no problem buying their season tickets to a football game a year in advance, being on time for their fantasy football event, being at a 7 a.m. golf tee time. So the issue must be that they're just not interested in attending these singles meet and greets. I also read that men don't really like the pressure of meeting a woman in a formal dating experience, and they prefer meeting a woman naturally, like at a bar or a concert. But like, don't we all? Now remember, I chose an event that men love doing, and I get men here every day at my farm fishing. I chose a fishing event because as an event planner, I know that I have to always have something for men to be doing. Men don't enjoy just standing around talking like women do. So that's why I chose fishing as the predominant activity. And yet they still didn't want to come. So I would love to hear from you all as to why you think men don't attend singles events. Because all I hear is them on social media talking about how lonely they are and how they all want to meet a woman and how much they hate the apps. So what do you think?
I'll tell you what's happening. Most men have given up on dating because women today have worn out most men. So, men feel too lazy to go to a place where they'll be judged, where they have to prove they're a good catch for someone to choose them. A job interview without benefits. These dating events feel to men like women are at an animal shelter, and in this case, the men are the dogs. The one with the best resume gets chosen. You have to say where you work, dress well, spend hours talking to different women who will keep asking you the same questions, and in the end, you match with the one whose standards you meet. Because you don't choose, she does. You're the one in need here. So many men, and rightly so, choose to skip all this. Plus, with the age these women are asking for, these men usually have been through a relationship already. After 35 or more, they no longer want another marriage. Nor are they seeking a relationship with the purpose of marriage, which is another thing these women are looking for. So, we warn you that the wall is unforgiving.
initiate dates.
Where are they? Why are you even asking? I mean, you told them to go away. You told them to leave you the hell alone. You told them you didn't want them, you didn't need them, and that they really served no purpose. And they heard you. So they're off, hanging with their bros, maybe having a few beers, playing some video games, have a little brisket on the smoker. They're enjoying life. They're done dealing with your drama. They're done dealing with your inane expectations. They're done dealing with you. I mean, let's face it. You told them you'd rather be with the bears, so that's exactly what they're doing. They're letting the bears have you. You see, ladies, you've made one huge mistake. You forced men to look at things. You forced them to analyze relationships and see if they're worth it. And they found out, no, they're not. They find that their lives are much happier and much richer without you, which means they're not going to be coming back anytime soon.
You made the bed you'll have to lie in. For years, you've been saying that men are misogynists, that masculinity is toxic, that a man had to be 6 feet tall, earn 6 figures, and have a luxury car to be with you. You started listening to those Instagram women with fake lives who told you not to settle for the minimum. You left the good guy in the friend zone because he was boring, mocked him on the internet, and some of you even made him pay your bills only to go off with a Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. This made men put in effort just to date you, and all you wanted was a free meal at a fancy restaurant where you take hundreds of photos that included everything except the sponsor. So, men got tired of the abuse and said enough is enough. The worst part is that after setting such high standards, you now claim it's better to be with a pet than a man, saying that men are abusive when nowadays we don't even approach you. So when you do all this and keep insulting and mocking us on TikTok, what did you think would happen? That we'd never realize the abuse? That we wouldn't go our own way? The best part is that if women are supposedly happier single according to their studies, men save more money, have better lives without so much drama, and even live better when they retire. What an irony, right?
Why dating isn't worth it to men. Only some of the reasons. We'll start with expensive. What, he spends all his money on the first date? Or what, Casper the Ghost? Rejection. Fear of not only being good enough for you, but also will you be good enough? Will he have to reject you? Waste of time. Go through so much effort texting you, making you feel special to go on that date. You finally do, and then you end up being a dud. He wasted all that time where he could have spent it on better things, hanging out with friends, working extra hours, whatever it is. Gender roles. Because these days it's super hypocritical, and a lot of men don't really win in this situation. Social skills and anxiety through the roof. A lot of men struggle with this one. So do us ladies. Legal and financial risks. He dates a woman with kids long enough, and he could be on the hook for child support. He marries her, again, issue there. He could end up paying alimony for the other one, specifically for girlfriends, but he's still not free from the financial risks, even if he doesn't marry you. That can weigh heavily on a person.
You heard right. If you date a woman with children, you might have to help with child support for her kids. This country honestly feels like living in a matriarchal system. Everything I said is true. You spend months talking to a woman, she's sweet to you, and you make the mistake of taking her to a nice place for a first date. You know what ends up happening? She spends the whole time taking pictures or on her phone talking about everything she ate. By the end of the night, you haven't talked at all, not a single picture was taken with you, and you're left with an expensive bill she doesn't even try to pay. They don't even pretend anymore, and you leave feeling like a complete loser. But the worst part is now getting involved with a woman who, from the moment you marry, starts planning her exit strategy in case of divorce. She'll take her money after you've supported her entirely, claiming you never did anything for her. She'll leave with half of your assets, then tell the court she was a homemaker who gave years of her life to you and needs alimony. The court might make you support her for life while she never looks for a job, which she'll never do. She'll just go out with Chad, who will relieve her stress all night in the house she took from you. But there are more reasons. Let's look at the second part.
Why dating isn't worth it to men, part 2. His friends treat him better. He has no issue splitting costs with his friends when they go out for food or games. Yes, they're also funner to be around. They're respectful. It's a win-win in all situations. He gets the same thing from casual relationships. A lot of men don't need serious relationships or even marriage because he can get those same things from casual relationships. There's no extra benefit from staying with you long term or marrying you. Not the commitment he wants. Some men do genuinely want to get married, and there's ladies out there who don't want that. He can have trouble finding the level of commitment he's looking for. And of course, some men do want casual relationships, and they have trouble finding women who want the same thing. Catfishing and fake profiles, which is becoming way too common. He doesn't know if you're gonna actually look the way you present on the dating site, or if you lied about your whole personality, which could also be part of this. It's expensive and a waste of time. Exhaustion from games and mixed signals. Despite popular belief, men do not enjoy these relationship games. They actually find them quite annoying.
Men have understood the rules that have been imposed, where marriage has become a contract that only benefits women. If you doubt that this is true, just tell a woman you want a prenuptial agreement and watch the love disappear instantly. There are also damages in the marriage that she doesn't mention, like if the woman cheats on you or, worse, ends up having a child with a Chad. Since husbands don't do DNA tests, years later, they might discover the child isn't theirs, something that happens in quite a few marriages. There's more. A woman might leave you simply because she deserves to be happy, with a divorce rate of 80%. This is dangerous. The most ironic part is that for her to be happy, she has to take all your money because her happiness must be financed by someone else, right? Then there are dating apps where only 20% of men succeed, and the other 80% have to pray that on the day of the date, they aren't surprised that their date is a woman with a filter, or worse, has something hanging between her legs, the other modern women. But this has become total chaos for men, who no longer see any benefits in this and find it better to have a relationship where everyone stays in their own home because getting together has lost all its advantages.
What happened to men pursuing girls?
What happened? Why aren't men pursuing women anymore? Honestly, I don't know why women keep asking this question over and over. But let's see if we can try and explain it to them one more time. But let's be honest, though, the answers we're giving them are going to go in one ear and right out the other, because the reality is they don't really want to know what men actually think. They just want men to validate what they think is the reason, even though it's completely wrong. So why are men not approaching women anymore? Well, to quote an old guy from a few hundred years ago, let me count the ways. And I'm going to give you the 3 biggest reasons why men have stopped approaching. Number 1, because there's nothing to be gained in doing so. Sorry, ladies, but men have figured out that while you think you can have all the insane expectations in the world, like if he isn't 6 feet tall, with 6-pack abs and a 6-figure income, you also tell us that if men have even the slightest of expectations, hell, any at all, then we're controlling, manipulative, and abusive. The expectation in today's relationships is that they're a one-way street where men give, and get nothing in return. Thanks, but no thanks. Number 2, because it's not safe to approach women anymore. The risk to being in the vicinity of a woman or a group of women, let alone approaching one, is simply too great. False allegations are rampant at work, at school, in the home, literally anywhere in today's society. Women have weaponized Me Too and are using it to get back at men for even the slightest of reasons, knowing not only will they be believed, even when it's been proven beyond a doubt that they're lying, but that they'll get a ton of sympathy for the trauma they faced. Approaching a woman nowadays isn't just taking the risk of getting mocked, made fun of, or told to go away, incel. It carries the very real risk of arrest, prison, and having your life destroyed. Ask yourselves, ladies, would you be willing to take that risk, knowing that if you just happen to pick the wrong person to approach, they'll destroy your life just because they can? Yeah, I didn't think so. And finally, number 3, the biggest and best reason of all. You told us not to, ladies. You've made it abundantly clear you don't want us, don't need us, and most importantly, don't want us approaching you. So while you may think we men aren't listening, aren't paying attention, we heard you loud and clear, and we men are giving you exactly what you want. Which begs the question, why, for the love of God, do you keep asking these same questions over and over.
This man deserves a beer because he's absolutely right. Everything a man brings to the table has value. What does a woman bring? Let me see. Feminine energy? No. A home? No. Her presence, which she's already shared with many, so it has little or no value. But as a man, you have to bring tangible things. Unfortunately, if you have nothing, then you're worth nothing. Here's another issue. If a man who is an 8 to 10 says something to a woman, it isn't perceived as harassment, even if it's satire or sarcasm. But if a man who is a 1 to 3 says the same thing, he will be reported for harassment. As he says, nowadays at work, bosses install cameras, don't approach women, don't have closed-door meetings with a woman, and don't even sit with them in some workplace cafeterias. They do this to avoid losing their jobs over a complaint, because this is now more of a weapon than protection. If a woman divorces you, and she was the one who did wrong, she'll accuse you of domestic violence to take everything from you. Some even go as far as recording themselves with bruises. So why would we approach them when there's nothing to gain? Why would I risk a woman accusing me and ruining my life? The worst part is that in this country, even with evidence, a man is still considered guilty. And if a woman records herself crying, there are groups of bitter women wanting to ruin your life. So tell me the benefit when most women aren't wife material. That's why we let them hit the wall, because the wall is unforgiving. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do men decide not to approach women nowadays? Have you ever seen a woman report someone for harassment, whether at home, work, or school? Tell us what happened. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.